please. All right. On 4/23 of '96, I came out of a dumpster, and I put the needle down, and I put the pipe down, and I decided to join, I guess, normies at what they do in this thing called life. For many years, I would wait for the connection and watch people go by with cars and all that, right? And I didn't get it. Like, how did they get it? At 5 years of sobriety, I went for a job interview with the city of Long Beach, and for a street outreach coordinator, and they hired me. Like 6 weeks later, they hired me, and I'm like, do they know what I am? Do they know where I come from? You know, I had so low self-esteem, but I didn't have any filter for my honesty. You know, so I would give it to you honestly, and you'd be like, oh, sorry, you know. But I lived on the streets for 14 years prior to this. I knew the streets like the back of my hand. But when I started working in the streets for others, I was scared, and so a man named Cherokee took me in. He took me by the Queen Mary. Hi, Lucy, she'll come back alone, bye. For 10 years, I went there. Bridges, streets, wherever you laid your head, I went. Tree houses. My first story was, I was under the Anaheim Bridge, and you have to build trust, and you can't lie. And life out there is about respect. And so I pulled up on a group, and there was a 60-year-old man amongst them, and he had his dog, and he just got thrown out of his home. And I didn't know what to do. So the lady looked over at me. They're all using meth. And she's like, I'll help you with him, but you gotta have lunch with us. And I'm like, okay. So they broke out the bread from the food bank, the peanut butter and the jelly, and I proceeded to have a sandwich with them. And up run the connection. And he showed up, and they're like, okay, Lucy, we know who you are, get up. That was like 5 minutes of sitting down, and I can tell you that relationship led to 10 years of myself being alone, maybe sometimes with others, of continuous contact with others. And some people, I never even knew you could change a life with just a hello. And so that has been my path for the last 20 years. And I finally retired. I don't know where my 5 minutes is. I'm really nervous, but
you're great.
You're doing wonderful.
I have many stories like that, but to be accepted into their community, I didn't know it was their community. And for 6 weeks, that lady fed that man's dog. She fed him. Well, I figured out how to rent him an apartment. And I got an apartment right next to my mom's house, her apartment. And he told me, I'm never leaving Lucy until I pass. And he had an old black dog. He went everywhere with her. One day they didn't see him for 3 days. He'd been in housing a couple years, 2 years. And he had passed. Guess what? He passed in his house. You know, he passed in his bed. And the dog, miracle. The property management, she was old. She was over 10. They took her that day and gave her a home where she didn't have to be, you know, go to the SPCA or whatever. I mean, this is just my first story, you know, and I've gotten to live many more. And it's been an enrichment. Over there, I'm an undercover isolator. Nobody knows that. But I have a group of friends over there, and Jill's one of them who has walked the streets with me and helped others. All of us do that in that corner. We help others, and we do it with all our hearts. And thank you.